Boom! We are live, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the Life as a Chad YouTube channel. And I thank all of you for being here, wherever you may be. And of course, however you may be listening. So I recorded this about this topic anyways in my car. Sometimes I have no choice just because due to how busy I am, but I did say that I was going to talk about it officially in front of the mic, and so I shall. I don't really have any articles or anything to pull up on it. To tell you the truth, I haven't even really looked into it a ton. I have watched some videos. Fresh and Fit had Tim Pool on. I watched some of that, some of their takes on it. I watched Paul Joseph Watson's video on it. And so I can respond to that a little bit. But in general, I just want to give you guys my take on the recent events that transpired in a certain area of the world. And I'll just abbreviate it and put ME, standing for the region, without identifying people groups or countries or anything like that, due to this being YouTube. By the way, folks, as you guys can see, there wasn't really a reason for me to create a Twitter profile. I decided to create one due to the channel growth. If enough people follow me on the Twitter account, I will start to be more active on it and, really give it a proper go and get after people on Twitter and really throw out some fucking bangers on there. But until then, we'll see how many of you guys end up following it. Hopefully I can get on the Crucible or a debate panel. I'm hoping to do that here in the future. I've never debated before, but I'm one of the very main things that I discuss on this channel is growth as a man and being on your purpose. And I'm always trying to find those things for myself. And I think doing something that I've never done before would be an excellent way to grow. Now, actually take that back. I have had a debate in college, but as far as like a formal debate that actually means something other than like a grade or fucking shit like that, I have not. And so I think it would be an excellent opportunity for growth and for the channel to grow. So I'm looking forward to that. But as for this topic, by the way, guys, if you're not subscribed, smash that fucking subscribe button, like, comment, share. You guys know the drill. My take on it is very simple. You know, as you get older, and I've referenced this in the past, Andrew Tate was interviewed by Tucker Carlson, and one of his comments was when Tucker Carlson asked him a specific question. I think it had to do with Ukraine, who the bad guys were and who were the good guys and things like that. Andrew Tate said that if you are somebody who believes that there is such a thing as good and bad guys, and you're an adult, you are basically an NPC and living in delusional land. And I agree. As you get older and you're not completely plugged into the system, you realize that ultimately this comes down, and you have to remember this when assessing these global events that transpire. You have to remember this crucial point that at the end of the day, there are the people who are in charge and the people who are not. And the people in charge, the best you can hope for is that either the system governs them and checks them and their authority and their power from doing bad, horrible shit, or you just hope that those people do the right things, are in a position of power to do good things rather than to increase their power, increase their authority, increase their pocketbooks, or their pockets rather. And sadly, that, especially in the West, is mostly the case. Most of the time, these people who are running the show are doing it based off of what will influence and help the power that they currently have, either by increasing it or by holding it steadfast, increase their authority, or increase the amount of money that goes into their pockets, either immediately or down the line. And as soon as you realize that, you realize that the statement that Andrew Tate made is absolutely correct, that there is no such thing as good and bad guys when it comes to these global conflicts. There's just people who are making these decisions without really thinking about us citizens. They are primarily thinking about what is best for them in their current position as a global leader. And so it always fucking like astonishes me when people are coming at this like fully willing to believe every piece of information that is thrown at them, and you need to support this, you need to do that, and support the current thing. That was the meme that came out especially at the beginning of the Ukraine-Russia conflict, support the current thing. And it's just, and there's also another, the situation that happened. It's absolutely stunning how many people are just so willing to believe in this fake good nature of these people that are in positions of authority and power, that they absolutely unequivocally are doing what is right and what is best for you. And it's absolutely bullshit. It's nonsense. And so what I'm getting at when it comes to the conflict that just recently transpired last week, I saw it at the gym, as I said in my first video when I recorded it in my car. When it comes to this, I caution you from falling head over heels for one side or the other in the narratives that they push forth, because at the end of the day, they will say and do anything that benefits them, their power, and their pocketbooks. And it also points to, just in general, whether, when you're asking yourself about the legitimacy, or when you're asking of the conflict, or when you're asking yourself, well, how did this happen? How the fuck was this even allowed to happen? And when you realize all the things that I just said, the answer is very simple. How is it allowed to happen? Well, because who is benefiting? Who does this benefit? Who is this increasing the pocketbooks books of? Who is this increasing the authority of? Who is this increasing the power of? And so I'm not willing to say that this was a staged event, that this was a manipulated event. I'm not willing to fully say that yet. But what I am willing to say is that I wouldn't be surprised if it was. I am not the biggest like conspiracy theorist, or like, diving down into the rabbit hole. I mean, I'm definitely aware, okay? I'm not plugged into the system, and I'm definitely aware of these different ideas and thoughts of events that have taken place across the world stage. But I would not be surprised in the least, given all those things that I said, if this was staged and planned and manipulated. And ultimately, I would not be stunned, and this was the title of my video. Ultimately, if I had to predict where this was going, especially looking at this from an American citizen point of view, I can almost guarantee that America is going to be plunged into 2 wars globally. I can almost guarantee it. Okay. Do you know how much money has already been like checked off to be given to a specific side in this conflict? Now, a lot of people, maybe even people who are subscribed to this channel, because this particular conflict affects both sides. It really, really does. There's going to be I already know there's going to be some people who are like die hard, we have to support this particular area no matter what, at all costs. They're the greatest ally of America. We have to do it. We have to do it. And as an America First individual, and a paleo conservative, and at times a populist, I'm just not down for that. And for me, my take will morph as this kind of unfolds. To me, you have to look at it from the perspective of, okay, how it when it comes down to who do you support and what should America do and or not do, you have to ask yourself, what will benefit America the most? And if that is to support them, then I'd be for it. If it's not to support them, then I'd be for that as well. And so that's the main question and the main things that I think about when something like this transpires. But I did also want to touch upon one more thing, which is, and Paul Joseph Watson talked about this, ultimately, the people who are affected the most by this shit are innocent men and women and children who have nothing to fucking do with any of these decisions that are made across the globe, that are affected the most by this. And it's tragic. It really, really is. American citizens, will be affected in their pocketbooks by how much money is given in aid to them and the country in Eastern Europe that is fighting another Eastern European country. I won't specify who, just to be kind of cheeky here. And that's really just the saddest part about this. All of this is the people who are affected the most and the worst are the people who have no say or anything to do with any of these conflicts. And we are seen as expendable and a means to an end to give. And this is what I always tell people when, they dive head over heels when it comes to supporting this cause or this cause. I always say, we are the expendable ones. And by you doing that, you are basically allowing them to control your strings in one way, shape, or form. And the only way that they are allowed to even do this on a large level is when the populace dives head over heels in support of things like this. I guarantee you that American citizens feel far differently about, the events that took place in 2001 than they did in 2001. Okay. Now, I'm not giving my take on that particular event, but I'm simply saying that you have to caution yourself from allowing them to manipulate you and tug at your emotional strings into one direction or another, because ultimately, you don't fucking matter to one iota to the decision. They see you as expendable. They see you as a means to an end. And to me, it's a far safer bet to just kind of take a step back, breathe, and kind of see things unfold before you throw your unwavering support to one side or the other. And as I said, if you are an unplugged individual, you know that there are no good and bad sides. Okay. There are just people committing horrendous acts of evil and trying to benefit themselves. Now, the other thing on this that I thought about, and again, this came from Paul Joseph Watson, is it's just hilarious how, you look across the landscape and you see the reactions that people have had to this incident, people in the media and shit like that. And you look at their past responses, and it's hypocrisy is on full display. And it is, it's not stunning to me, because as I said, I operate under the understanding, or with the understanding, that these people do and say what will benefit them and their position of power. But you have these people who, on one hand, are allowing millions of these people to migrate into their country and change their country from within. France being one, as I made a video on France and how France is basically lost at this point, unless they're able to totally thwart and reverse the bad decisions that they've already made. Those same people who encourage us to bend over and take this bullshit and affect our economy and paycheck and our way of life, our culture. Also, when it benefits them, they throw their support behind, you know who. But never forget that those are the same fucking people who are okay with millions of these people migrating into these countries illegally and committing horrendous acts. Now, not all of them, not all. Okay, not all of them do it, but a lot of them do. I remember reading a story a while back in Sweden, how they used to have the women were given by the government pink "please don't arm me" bracelets. That's how bad it had gotten. Okay. Now, this is not me throwing my support to either side. Okay. I'm merely pointing out the hypocrisy of the very people who, on one hand, tell us that we must, it is imperative that we are okay and must accept these people coming into our country and changing our way of life, our culture, and coming in here illegally. And on the other, condemning them for doing the same thing, doing essentially the same thing for a land that they actually have more of a right to. In theory, I guess. So, but as a whole, this just absolutely exposes the main concept that I want to get across here, which is you need to realize that these leaders, these people in positions of authority that are only there because we have allowed them to be there, are doing things merely for the sole benefit of themselves. There's only few good leaders who are truly in those positions to do what they truly believe will benefit their constituency, their region, their area, their city, their county, their country. Only a few. So anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think. Maybe I'll have more on this if more shit comes down the pipeline. Like I said, I don't know for sure if this was orchestrated or manipulated or planned, like on both sides in America is funding both sides and Israel basically okayed the attack so that they could pay these arms dealers and these I don't know. Okay. I can't say for sure. I don't have the evidence for it, but I wouldn't be surprised. It's not completely out of my mind. And yes, I am being politically correct on this topic just because of the topic that it is. So anyways, guys, like, comment, share, subscribe. Go and give my Twitter channel a follow. Like I said, hopefully I'll be able to get on a panel here, a debate panel here in the future. And last but not least, DBAP, don't be a pussy, Willow, and facts or feelings, because your feelings just don't fucking matter. Love you, King. See you guys next time. Christ is King. Peace.